Jasmine Crockett has quickly become one of the brightest stars in the Democratic Party, and every time that she goes on TV or is spotlighted in a congressional committee hearing, it is incredibly clear why. This is someone who makes the arguments that we need out there in the media and does so with so much passion and with just such a clear voice. And that's exactly what she did, crushing and calling out the hypocrisy of MAGA coming after the pardon of Hunter Biden. Now, of course, you can feel however you do about President Biden's decision to pardon his son, but MAGA has no leg to stand on and call this out. These are people who just supported a convicted felon for president, not a son's president, but for president. So I don't want to hear anything from MAGA. And that is exactly the type of energy that Jasmine Crockett brought to calling them out and crushing Donald Trump. And I want to get into that clip. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really means the world to me. Now let's get into this clip of Jasmine Crockett.
I want to bring in Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas. She serves in the House Oversight Committee. Glad to have you here, Congresswoman. I'm eager to get your take on this because, look, I mean, you have actually congratulated President Biden. Yeah. You seem to be, at least publicly, in the minority among Democrats in the House. Why do you think you are in the minority here, and is it sincere?
First of all, it is sincere. And, you know, I can't say why my colleagues are acting the way that they are. I can say that the American people are tired of us bringing a butter knife to a real fight, a real war. And the reality is that, you know, a lot of my colleagues, even if they are lawyers, they've never practiced law. They've never actually been in a courtroom, something that you've done before. And Laura, you and I haven't rehearsed this, and I'm not supposed to do this because, you know, we're never supposed to ask a question you don't know the answer to. But chances are, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've never prosecuted anyone who was a drug addict and they filled out an application to get a gun before.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So in my experience, because I did practice criminal defense for almost 20 years, both in state courts as well as federal courts, I've never seen a case like this before. So, you know, when we look at this, and as somebody who serves on oversight, I saw it up close and personal. Listen, this was gamesmanship. They were going after his only son so that they could try to get at him. This was all about politics. And at the end of the day, when the president said that he had no intentions of pardoning his son, I absolutely believe that he believed that in that moment.
Well, why would he have done that, Congresswoman? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, as he wrote out in that statement, for the reasons you've suggested, these charges alone, the accusations alone, normally would not have given way to a trial.
No.
But Biden surely would have known. He himself, by the way, was a defense attorney for a time in his earlier career. He himself would have known how this all worked, so to speak. Why wouldn't he have given himself some room to even equivocate? Why would he have said so definitively if that might have been in the future?
I can't tell you why he did it. I can tell you that at the time that he said it, though, he was, number one, the Democratic nominee to go after a second term. And circumstances have changed. Not only did he not end up becoming the Democratic nominee to go into a second term, we know that Trump and his administration, you were just talking about in your lead-in about Kash Patel. And so not only is it that we lost, but we now know that we have someone who is a convicted criminal that is going into the White House and seemingly is surrounding himself with questionable figures. And the retribution that he's talked about seeking on the trail, you know, I think that the president is taking him at his word, and he's decided that he is going to protect his only son. And honestly, I think that it was the right move. Listen, anybody that has a problem with a pardon, let me be clear about this. The only way you get a pardon is if you've been in trouble in some way. And so, you know, at the end of the day, there are really bad folk that Trump decided that he would pardon when he was going through his first presidential when he served in his first presidency. Listen, at the end of the day, I need people to really recognize that we are living in some different times. And I applaud the president because the American people have been so upset with Democrats not fighting back and not fighting with the same tools that the Republicans have been fighting with. And we know that the Supreme Court has done what? Given immunity. His own lawyers argued to the Supreme Court that he should be allowed to have SEAL Team 6 go out and kill somebody. So for
they have given some, they have said that there is some form for official conduct and acts. Really quickly, though, Democrats have been accused of seeking the moral high ground, even at their own expense. Are we seeing a shift now where Democrats are no longer bringing that sort of butter knife and are just going to say, listen, we're going to fight in the way that perhaps they expect Republicans to?
I don't see the shift. You just said I'm in the minority.
But my question was about you being sincere. It wasn't whether you were sincere. But are there others behind closed doors who actually feel just like you do and are saying in front of cameras, this is unbelievable, I can't imagine this ever happening?
No, I think that others that feel the way that I feel, they're actually quiet. I think the ones that are out front saying what they're saying, they really believe what they're saying.
Why are they quiet?
You know, everybody comes from different districts. So a lot of people are always concerned about how will my district take this. But for me, listen, I'm fearless. At the end of the day, I do believe in democracy. If my district ever feels as if I'm not representing an authentic voice for them, then they will vote me out. But one thing I can't do is not be myself.
I love it. I don't want to hear any of this hypocrisy from MAGA. Jasmine Crockett, just such a perfect call out. We talked about it yesterday. I saw a tweet from Nikki Haley saying that it was an unprincipled decision by President Biden. Does Nikki Haley have a single principle? A single one, except for serve Nikki Haley all the time? No. And that's why I don't want to hear anything from MAGA. And another topic that we can see that on is the nomination of Kash Patel to head up the FBI. Just an insane decision from Donald Trump that Republicans are trying to support him on. And of course, when Republicans, and especially those on Fox, are trying to make a bad point, Jessica Tarlov is there to call it out. And I want to check out her doing just that.
Jessica, how do you see Kash Patel?
The good news is he is not being accused of having sex with a minor. So the bar, we're up here, so that's good. He also, in good news, just put his enemies list out there. It's in his book, Government Gangsters. His vision for reforming the FBI, I guess, is just being angry at people who worked for Barack Obama and Republicans who are mean to Trump.
Not a bad place to start.
Sure. Bill Barr, who I know some people on the Republican side, or I guess the MAGA side, think of as squishy, now said that he would be the deputy director of the FBI over his dead body. Just want to make sure I get that correct. He is an avid children's book author. The Plot Against the King. Hillary's the villain. Okay. Send that for the holidays. Cleo could use it. He has a clothing line. He hawks anti-vax diet supplements. And he nearly botched a 2020 hostage rescue, a 27-year-old American who was being held in Nigeria. He fabricated the fact that the government over there knew about it. Mark Esper has spoken about this. But otherwise, I think he's totally qualified.
But they got the hostages out, right?
Do you think it's okay to
They got
lie?
it out, right?
I see
Yeah,
how
so the
we're going to do
hostage
that.
was rescued, so it wasn't really botched. What do you believe Kash Patel's all about, Judge?
I don't know him that well. He's one of the few people that I haven't interviewed. I don't know why. I mean, you know, he was involved in the first Trump administration. But I'll tell you what I like about what I've read. He's interested in a declassification office in the FBI, where all government agencies, you know, have to request a classification so that, you know, those deep staters that what's his name doesn't seem to know. And Raskin doesn't seem to know who they are or what it means. I could tell you in 8 of my books. But so that they can't just block the American people from getting information based upon it being classified. I think that is brilliant. I'm very much behind it. The Democrats have weaponized government. They've done it for years, and they did it in the FISA court with an unverified document and money that a Steele dossier was paid for by Hillary Clinton through her law firm, and it goes on. And there has been no consequence for those people who were lying about that unverified warrant. No consequence, nothing. Even the court did nothing. If you did that to me and I was a sitting judge, I'd have you disbarred for it. That you would dare to come to me to spy on an American citizen through the FISA court and through a lie that you know is unverified. But in the end, I think that is one of the most important things he can do. And it is, you know, we want to know about JFK, want to know about 9/11. I want to know about crooks. What about this Foreign Encryption Act? I mean, this app that he has that's encrypted that nobody can get into. I want to know what that says.
All right. Well, you just heard the talking points against Kash. Apparently, he's a children's author. So if that's the best they got, I think you guys are in trouble.
Well,
Got to go to break,
okay,
Jessica.
all right.
Sorry.
A brutal and much needed takedown of Jesse Waters' lies and just calling out the danger that is Kash Patel. And I think it's important that we not just talk about this as a dangerous individual. Of course he is, but we also have to look at what's the root cause. Why is Kash Patel there? He's there because he's willing to serve Donald Trump. Always, all the time. That's his focus. Not just someone who will do whatever Donald Trump says, but predict what will make him happy and go out and do it. And that's essentially just persecuting his political enemies. This is not someone, of course, I know he's the nominee for the FBI director, but none of these appointments are about making eggs cheaper or making life cost less. It's about serving Donald Trump. And we have to continue to make that case. And it's what we're going to talk about every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.